Everyone, please quiet down. Thank you. At this time, I'm going to call the meeting of the legislature to order. Everyone, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Everyone can be seated. The July session theme is to highlight the 131st Ulster County Fair. Wednesday, August 1st is the opening day ceremony for the 131st Ulster County Fair, and I hope you'll all be able to join me at 6 p.m. on the main stage for the reception afterwards. I know my good friend Gary Newkirk, the fair manager, John Fitzpatrick, the president, and the officers, board of directors, and staff of the Agricultural Society prepare for this grand event every year. This is our opportunity to thank them for all their hard work and dedication. And, you know, I really can appreciate our Ulster County Fair. I have a lot of fond memories of going when I was a child, and we truly have an old country fair in Ulster County. We actually have such a good old country fair that the Orange County Farmers Museum brings their antique farm equipment to our fair because they felt that theirs got too commercialized and that ours still had the feel of an old country fair. So I hope everybody has a chance to come and have a 4-H milkshake and enjoy yourself at one of the best events of the year. And with that, Vicki, would you please call the roll?
Announcements. Fire evacuation plan. Please note that in the event of an emergency, the fire department has requested that legislators and all others move at least 1 block away from the county office building in order not to impede the firefighters in their duties. Cell phones. Please silence cell phones for the duration of the session. Microphones. Please be reminded to use your microphones when speaking so that you are recorded for the official record. Roll call. Archer.
Present.
Bartels. Present. Collins.
Here.
DeLon.
Here.
Donaldson.
Here.
Eckert. Here. Fabiano.
Here.
Gerantine. Here. Green.
Here.
Haynes.
Here.
Hepner.
Here.
Litz.
Here.
Lopez.
Here.
Mayo. Here. Maloney James.
Here.
Maloney Joseph. Here. Nolan.
Here.
Petit. Here. Roberts.
Here.
Rodriguez.
Present.
Ronk.
Here.
Warrow.
Here.
And Waltman.
Here.
23 present and 0 absent.
We only have one birthday this month, and that's Legislator Tracy Bartels. I was on July 7th. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to dispense with the reading of the previous minutes. Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? As always, we have various communications on file. If anybody wants to review any of them, please contact somebody from the clerk's office. And so at this time, we don't have any presentations this month, so we're going to enter a period of public comment. I would ask everybody to please be respectful of people who don't share your views on something. I do not tolerate, expressions of displeasure or pleasure while somebody's speaking. Each person's going to get their opportunity to say their piece. Please do not respond to something that a previous speaker had said, but come up and say what you plan to say. And please do not address individual legislators or individual members of the public. Respect is, everyone's going to respect you, I hope, and I hope that you respect everybody else's opinion in the room. Before we get started, I do want to address some erroneous information that's been circulated, I believe, innocently. The resolution tonight for the Ashokam Rail Trail does not appropriate $16 million or more in county funds. It's $8.25 million. Somebody, when they made an ad that was widely distributed in the newspaper, they added the revenue and the expenses together. So I wanted to make sure that anybody who came here thinking that we were spending $16 million on the Ashokan Rail Trail, that was dispelled before the public comment started. With that, Vicki, please call the first speaker. Oh, yeah, sorry. With 60?
59.
59. With 59 speakers, each speaker is going to receive 2 minutes to speak. Please watch the timekeeper in the back of the room and be respectful. Thank you.
The first speaker signed up is Rebecca Diamond. Rebecca is followed by Tom Denton.
Good evening. My name is Rebecca Diamond, and I am a representative of the New York State Humane Association. NYSHA strongly opposes proposed local law number 9 of 2018. I would like to make 4 points about the latest version of this proposed law. First, it allows anyone, trained or not, with good intentions or not, to trap cats anywhere at any time. Second, it fails to require notification to property owners through the notice provision that the trapped cats may ultimately be returned to within 50 feet of the same location from which they were trapped, thus to continue their public health threat, possible rabies and distemper, and property damaging behavior. Third, it disregards the possibility that the organization involved in a trapping operation may capture and release cats who are injured or appear to be diseased. Given that the county is asked to adopt this legislation, does that mean the county is responsible for the veterinary costs associated with the needed care for these animals? And fourth, it removes several options under the mandatory hold period. Though the assessment of adoptability is retained in this section, the explicit options that dealt with cats who are not adoptable have been removed. Instead, in an attempt to obscure the fate of these cats, one is left to find in the record section that they may be returned to within 50 feet of their origin location. These provisions appear to be in conflict with existing state laws and could result in a legal action against the county. In addition to the cruelty that could be inflicted on these hapless creatures who may be released into an environment where they are not only unwanted, but actively hated and possibly harmed by some individuals. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tom Denton, followed by Jane Schonberg.
Where's my timekeeper? Thank you. There are times when the idea of term limits appeals to me. We see examples of corrupt officials imprisoned, others escaping accountability, and the impulse is to throw the bums out, however we may. Especially now, the craven behavior of many of our current leaders is appalling, and it's tempting to think, what else can we do? But then the abiding answer of our democratic system reappears. We can vote them out. If elected officials don't perform to our standards, we have the power of the voting booth. If they perform well, we can reward them. Term limits, to me, express a lack of faith in American citizens. I don't want to surrender to that view. In recent weeks, we've seen the very active involvement of Reclaim New York in this debate in Ulster County. Reclaim New York is a part of a formal and informal national organization and agenda. That organization is largely funded by the Mercer family. That agenda is driven by the likes of former presidential advisor Steve Bannon, now returned to the despicable Breitbart news agency. Mercer is synonymous with dark money in politics. Bannon and Breitbart are purveyors of hate, misogyny, anti-Semitism, and conspiracy theories of a deep state. Their agenda has delivered the chaos that we now see in our country. Legislators of good faith face a stark dilemma. Into a legitimate public policy debate, Reclaim New York has injected dirty politics, dirty, dark money. We want that politics and that money out of Ulster County. I believe the legislature should withdraw the proposal before it. After November, there will be a clear picture of America's verdict. Legislators can then run on their principles and their policy stance on term limits in a debate that is shaped by active citizens, not by puppeteers, should I say it, from a different sort of deep state. Thank you.
Jane Shannonberg, followed, how do you say that? I'll say it. Okay. Followed by Jordan Etzel.
Good evening. My name is Jane Shanberg, and I'm a resident of New Paltz. I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight about the term limits bill. I'm not against term limits, but I am against this bill. Let me cite some very good reasons. First, this bill is tainted by Reclaim New York. They have taken out full-page ads in weeklies such as the New Paltz Times, claiming this very bill as one of their initiatives. Anyone who uses Google will quickly learn that Reclaim New York is a Mercer-sponsored alt-right organization, one founded by Steve Bannon and the folks that brought us Cambridge Analytica. So I say to you fellow Democrats and thoughtful independents, do you want your record to show that you voted yes on a bill sponsored by the Mercers? Do you want your constituents to know that you would vote with dark money interests from outside Ulster County? Because that's what a yes vote on this bill would mean. Second, and equally important, the legislature can pass a local law on term limits. A referendum on the ballot is unnecessary. The actions of Reclaim New York are designed to boost Republican turnout in the general election. They're also designed, in my opinion, to support the re-election of John Faso. Reclaim New York and the Faso campaign have connections. It's no coincidence that an expensive mailer with the same ad was sent to voters across the county. Republicans have every right to try this tactic. But my message to any Democratic legislator considering a yes vote is simple. Don't let yourself be used as a Mercer proxy. If you feel strongly about limits, then pass a clean local law instead. Thank you.
Jordan Etzel, followed by Sarah Gardner.
Hello, my name is Jordan Etzel. I'm from New Paltz. That's the first time I've ever shown up to anything like this, but I feel like I kind of have to nowadays. Outsider billionaires want to meddle with our government, even on local levels now. When I heard that Reclaim New York, a group started and funded by the likes of Robert Mercer, Steve Bannon, and others, was pushing for new term limits, I knew it wasn't going to be for any local's benefit. That Suffolk County billionaire, Robert Mercer of Cambridge Analytica, who became so toxic after their Facebook scandal that he had to sell his stake in Breitbart. And that Steve Bannon, who was once quoted as saying, "I'm a Leninist. Lenin wanted to destroy the state, and that's my goal too. I want to bring everything crashing down and destroy today's establishment." Reclaim New York is dedicated to costing our local governments as much money as possible in order to decrease their ability to effectively govern. These tactics, such as submitting as many frivolous FOIL requests as possible, and I have no doubt that they have nefarious and meddlesome designs in mind for pushing new term limits. I don't want the Robert Mercers and the Steve Bannons in the world wasting my time, my money, and the money of other taxpayers. They have a lot more time and a lot more money than I do. They can't afford it. They can afford it. I can't. I'd rather be home right now with my daughter watching Paw Patrol on TV. I really don't like Paw Patrol. Trust me. If Robert Mercer and company want to undermine and bankrupt Suffolk County's government, take it over or otherwise influence it, that's fine. That's where he lives. I just don't want him doing it where he doesn't live. And I sure don't want him doing it where I live. I hope they stay out of other people's homes and they focus on their own. Thank you.
Sarah Gardner, followed by Rachel LeBaire.
Hi, I'm Sarah Gardner. I'm from Lloyd. I just want to add my voice to those that you've just heard in urging the county legislature to postpone action on the term limits legislation. I think that you all need to send a very clear message to the insidious organization, Reclaim New York, that the people of Ulster County are not for sale, you are not for sale, and that they can go ahead and pour all of their numerous resources into the process, and that we will not be swayed, and that you, in the end, will do what's best for the people of Ulster County.
Hi, my name is Rachel LeBaire. I'm from District 17 in New Paltz. I am here to ask that the legislature postpone or refer back to committee resolution number 285 regarding term limits because of the insidious, confusing, and probably nefarious amount of outside money that has been spent on promoting this resolution. And in addition, legislators and Reclaim New York should be aware that any further attempts to interfere with our government and interfere with our institutions will come to nothing. Thank you.
Jerry Ritchie, followed by Brian Blass.
Good evening. My name is Jerry Ritchie from Highland, New York. I have read the revised proposed local law number 9, 2018, and have grave concerns if this bill is passed into law. A few of the legislators who I've spoken to have told me that the revised bill is a notification law. Regardless of the changes, this remains a very flawed bill that will prove to be cumbersome and ineffective if it is passed into law. If enacted, I think the law would create an undue burden on agencies that are trying to help homeless, diseased, injured, and suffering cats, as well as cause an excessive hardship for those who are charged with enforcing the law. The logistical needs of the notification process in this bill would be very taxing for the county and its employees. The legal implications of the revised bill have not changed. Releasing, returning cats to trapping sites or near trapping sites is abandonment. Governor Andrew Cuomo realized this when he wrote his justifications for vetoing a law that would funnel state funds to pay for TNR programs. We all know that cats that are homeless and free roaming enter people's properties and create nuisances, not to mention safety and health issues affecting people and their pets. Property rights should be considered when creating any law that impacts the community. Lastly, I would like to offer a better solution to the cat crisis in our county. Make cat owners accountable by creating cat licensing and ordinances, just as there are for dogs. Cat owners would pay for the program through licensing fees. Dogs were allowed to roam freely, unlicensed and unvaccinated, decades ago, until the problem became so great that laws were passed to protect people and the dogs they love. It worked for dogs. It can work for cats. Thank you very much for your time.
Brian Blass, followed by Patty Goodwin.
Good evening, county legislators who represent the taxpayers of Ulster County. I am Brian Blass, a taxpayer. This trail project, which basically started with first denying the fact that a rail with trail solution was the best idea, should have been made into a resolution to be voted on by all the taxpayers of Ulster County, the people this project would impact the most. It wasn't. Your one public meeting with the majority of the pro-trail promoters in attendance was orchestrated to sway the public towards their side. The first phase of removal of the rails for a trail should have been done carefully and with full disclosure. It wasn't. It was hastily and secretly done without public awareness and was purposely continued when a stop order was imposed. The end result now is that according to the thousands of petitions signed by people who live here, it can be positively assumed that the majority of the people of this county would prefer, hands down, a rail with a trail. This had been a resolution for a vote. It would have shown that Ulster County taxpayers would want this rather than one single trail, as the county is determined to push through. Now it won't come before the public for a vote, because as before, it is done behind closed doors through track committee hearings and agreed on previously before it comes too late to a public meeting of the legislature without full disclosure to the public. Shame on those of you who got behind this maneuver to push through this expensive project without full public approval by voter referendum, and which still doesn't guarantee a large return on the money invested, as a fully operating railroad would have done. As a taxpayer who will end up paying for the single trail, I am appalled at this entire scenario. All of you represent us, all taxpayers, all the taxpayers of this county, not just them.
Patty Goodwin, followed by Gloria Waslin.
Hi, I'm Patty Goodwin. I live in Glenford, and I'm here to support the 4 Ashokan Rail Trail resolutions. We want to thank you so much for all the work, all the time that you've put in on this project, and I'd simply like to ask all the supporters of the Ashokan Rail Trail to stand now.
No cheering during speaking. I believe I made myself clear about that in the beginning. All you, Gloria.
My name is Gloria Waslin, and number one, I'd like to let everybody know that I have a brand new baby bird named Hope, almost 3 months old, so you'll all get to see Hope soon. Hope will be joining the family at the YMCA on Thursday at the Camp Starfish, and we've got a whole group of agendas going on. But now for important things too. Number one, I have cats. I love cats. I am somebody who believes all life is important, and I would not advocate for any harm to come to any animal. So the concept of taking care of animals, whether they're considered strays or feral, they're all one part of the earth, though. So I'm for the safe preservation and taking good care of all the animals, no matter what species they are. Number two, term limits. I spoke recently at one of the legislative meetings for term limits because I think that if somebody is in office and they are really horrible, it's good to have the opportunity to get new blood. However, just like electricity can be used for good things like lighting, or it could be used for bad things like the electric chair, it depends on the intention. And the concept of term limits, having rethought it in light of this Mercer money, is actually harmful because we've got some great people in office, and it often takes several years to complete projects and to get to know what the opportunities are, and these are long-term situations. So we've got fabulous people in office, and I believe that it's up to the voters to make their choices, and it helps to stimulate involvement with the voting population. And I think that this agenda of being able to vote people in and out is the right idea, as opposed to term limits and making that a mandate.
Please wrap up your comments.
What?
I said please wrap up your comments.
Okay.
The time is up.
I have one other little point. My parents went on the Peace Train. It's a lovely ride. I lived in Phoenicia. It's beautiful to see the train. I also...
I'm sorry, your time is up. If everybody has one more comment, it's going to take all night, Gloria.
Thank you. For the trail.
Or 2 more comments.
Hillary Smith, followed by Dom Cavello.
Hi, I'm Hillary Smith. I just want to thank you all for supporting the compromise. I'm building the Ashokan Rail Trail. I'm a town of Shandaken resident. I'm really looking forward to it.
Hi, I'm Dom Cavello. Good evening. I want to read a letter that my son Paul wrote in favor of the rail trail. And he is an owner of the Dillon Hotel on Route 28 in Glenford on the West Hurley-Woodstock border. So his letter reads like such: this county legislators, It has been almost 1 year to the week since my letter of support of the Ashokan Rail Trail, and I thought, given your upcoming vote, it may provide useful to give you an update as to what we have been doing at the Dillon Hotel. Firstly, we just have been busy under construction since early 2018, and we are well aware that you have almost been very diligently facilitating the revitalization of what we deem to be the most important section of Route 28 corridor, the gateway to the Catskill Park. We want to congratulate you and thank you for your continued leadership in this effort. Our complex now includes 3 single-family homes, 1 two-family home, and 2 one-family homes for employees, a future spa, a restaurant, and a hotel. We have increased parking by more than double the square footage of our current hotel, offering by the end of this summer our new lobby, a lounge, and 11 more updated rooms, making 22 rooms in total. It will be complete shortly. Our total project spent to date is in excess of $6 million, and we are immensely proud that what we have built, proud to be a part of this community, our hometown, and we are appreciative of all the support the county legislators has
Please wrap
thrown.
up your comments.
Okay, we are in favor of it. We want it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael Baden, followed by Larry Roth.
Good evening, legislators. I'm here to talk about Resolution 283, which is not on your agenda tonight because it was defeated in committee. I am in favor of the resolution. I do think there could be some changes to it, but what's really disappointing to me is that the 23 legislators here tonight did not get to debate it, that it was removed by what could be considered a political procedural move. It was truly a legal maneuver, but it was a little used maneuver that defeated it in committee. And leaders have to earn respect. Doing a maneuver like this does not instill a lot of respect in people. And if I could tell a real quick story, when I was chairman of my town's planning board, I had an application that was very contentious, and when it came to vote, we had a snowstorm. The meeting was canceled. The applicant, the attorney, they asked for a new meeting. I could only get 4 members to show up at that meeting, myself included. I knew I was voting no because I had problems with that application. I could have made that meeting happen and the application would have been denied and I would have been the deciding factor. Instead, I made them wait 3 weeks. We had the meeting. It was a 6-1 vote. I got to stand my ground and vote no. The applicant got his approval, and the very next day, I got an email from the applicant's attorney that said one line, "I have respect." Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Larry Roth. I'm here from the Ulster and Delaware Railway Revitalization Corporation. Ta-da. I'm going to make a brief public announcement. I'd invite everyone to our fundraiser August 4th at the Boyceville Inn. I wouldn't normally take time for this, but for some reason we can't get our events on the Ulster County Community Calendar. Shocking, I know. Well, at this point I could go into a recitation of facts and arguments and passionate statements, but you know what? Let's not bother with that. This is a night of triumph for the Ashokan Trail supporters, so let's celebrate them. You worked for this month after month, year after year. You went to hearings and committee meetings, even when some legislators didn't. You organized, you learned how to work the system, and you worked it hard. So I can applaud your accomplishments. That's why you were able to correct us when we got confused about spending. We actually had gotten a couple of legislators who were trying to tell us that they thought that was about the right amount, so we apologize if that confused everybody. Okay, Well, even though you're only a small subset of Ulster County taxpayers, you're still going to get them to pay for the trail tonight. It looks like it's going to run on rails, if you excuse the expression. We would kind of suggest that it might be a good idea to take a little bit of time. I have to compliment the county on the speed with which they're able to get this through. They had the resolutions ready to go as soon as the SDB ruling came through. They've got the vote ready to go. And I would think if you're confident that everything you've got is a good thing for the county, you'd be willing to put it up for a public referendum. But that's the way it's going to work. That's the way it's going to work. We did get a few things sorted out. We've confirmed that there will be no rail banking money, no federal money to cover easements. County is going to have to handle that, and I expect that will be interesting. I'd suggest anyone who has an easement, talk to a lawyer before signing anything, and if you call us, we can tell you one who's working on that kind of stuff. It's time to look forward, not back. You guys have got a lot going ahead, and we hope it all works out for everybody. We are going to be working.
Please wrap up your comments.
And it's like sausage. Enjoy it. Just don't think about where it comes from and how it got there. All right.
Russell Bonk, followed by Helen Chase.
Good evening. I'm back again this month. Hi, legislators. I will be very brief because there's like 10,000 speakers tonight. We don't want to be here till midnight. I will reiterate what Larry said. I am also, for those of you who don't know, with the UND RRC. I will just reiterate what Larry said about deeds and easements. That's two words. Those are two words that we will be hearing about in the future. And before you vote on the resolutions tonight, every legislator, think really hard. It's gone from 2 million to 6 million to 8 million, and it could and probably will rise. And that's accountable to the taxpayers of this county. I myself live in Dutchess County. I've paid for other rail trails which are successful. I would like to close with one more statement, adding that it is a shame that it has come down to us and them. In this world that we live in, that is a travesty, and it should not be. We're all humans on this, and we're all trying to work together. In closing, I would like to think that one member of your legislature has sat on various trail groups in the past, and I would hope that she would recuse herself from voting on any resolutions tonight. Thank you.
My name is Helen Chase. I come from Ashokan. I am involved with many things having to do with the Catskill region, the Catskill Park, the Forest Preserve. I live in the town of Olive. I feel strongly about the health and well-being of the communities in the Catskills. It was the business people of the town of Olive who invited the railroad to build west of Kingston. $8 million is a lot of money. I thought it was $9. $3 million is a lot of money. And this is just the start of spending more taxpayers' money. Even if it is only $3 million, that comes out of taxes of Ulster County residents at this time. It is a lot of money that will go toward building something that many people will not be able to ever use. There are so many walking trails already in our area. Another one is just another one. It replaces something that was unique and which will probably never be seen again. Many are not recognizing what a loss we have had forced on us by short-sighted officials. A truly remarkable trail would have been one on the south side of the reservoir, where we already have unusual features, 2 protected berms to walk on, a recreational fountain, 2 park areas, and a view to the north that is so stunning. Route 28A has always been the route that should have been created, a walking trail and bicycle route where there is less traffic. A trail on the north side has no stunning view. Route 28 is where we should have kept the railroad. A railroad. What an unusual and exciting concept.
Please wrap up your comments.
A trail is just another trail. Please do not spend any more taxpayer money on the trail, which
Your
was
time is up.
wrongly instituted in the first place.
Vivi Hlapsa, followed by Howard Ball.
Take your time.
As I say, this is just for show.
I'm Vivi Lofsa. I'm from Stone Ridge. And I come again concerned about the issue of the Fire Training Center. We had what was, by Mr. Doyle, what was supposed to be an open session, in quotes, and it turned out not to be open at all. In fact, it was a series of displays, one side of the room or the other. And as I, couldn't talk to the whole group, I went around and talked to all the firemen. It turned out they were just sort of told to come there. And they talked about my misunderstanding about what the fire training center would be, and they evidently had misunderstandings. One of them told me, no, there can't be a burn center there. It's going to be a wooden building. Well, we have looked into the company that is going to be supplying the 40-foot tower that is going in our rural community, and it is all metal. All of them are suitable for having burning, so that they may be saying this year, oh yeah, no burning, and we don't know what's going to happen. Meantime, it's going to be 12 months at least of increased traffic on 209, and 209 is already going through Stone Ridge. If any of you go through there, it's already a mess with traffic. It's a big problem. So I hope you keep this in mind and have a truly open meeting so that the members of our community can talk about this with each other. Thank you very much.
Good evening. I'm here to speak in opposition to local law number 9. This proposed law does nothing to hold cat owners responsible or accountable for the menace that their cats cause to the property, homes, pets, and families of their neighbors. People who trap wandering cats, whether feral or not, are only trying to protect their own property, but this law only puts requirements and penalties on those same people. Before this law is even considered for a vote, there needs to be a local cat licensing law with fees put in place to own and maintain a cat, just as there is for dog owners. The revenue generated from this licensing would help defray the costs that will be imposed on individuals by local law number 9. A pet that is licensed should be collared and tagged with its license, and then if it's trapped, it'll be easy and inexpensive to locate its irresponsible owners. In regard to local law number 9, I also have some questions and concerns, particularly section 4A and B, in terms of scanning for microchips and 7-day holds. Who scans? Where is the scan done? At what cost? Who does the hold? Where are they held? How are they held and at what cost? Assessment of adoptability. Who does the assessment? Where is the assessment done? How is the assessment done? At what cost? And if they're deemed adoptable, then what? A cat that's held for 7 days is deemed adoptable. What happens to it then? None of these questions are answered in this law. Records, it speaks to the records that an organization or an operation must maintain, but it doesn't speak to any records that a private citizen who's only trying to protect their property, what they have to maintain. I urge you to vote no for this proposal. I also request a local law requiring all cats to be licensed just as dogs are. And I have one final question. Which of you are going to stand up for the property owners and taxpayers who are only trying to protect our homes, our properties, and our pets from these menacing cats? Thank you.
Michael Ball, followed by Steve Rice.
He only signed up in case I ran out of time.
Steve Rice, followed by Erwin Rosenthal.
I cede my time. Erwin Rosenthal.
I cede my time to no one. I'm Steve Rice. I'm the chairman of the Ulster County Trails. I'm Steve Rice. I'm the chairman of the Ulster County Trails Advisory Committee. It's been my honor to serve since its inception, and as the last 5 years as the chair. I brought with me tonight a prop. It's the Ulster and Delaware Corridor UND Rail and Trail Study from July of 2016. It took 2 years to put together. That's 5 election cycles of this body to consider the question and the resolution and the steps we need to take to move our tourist-based economy forward on the UND corridor. I ask that you let reason, not fear, guide your vote, and I ask that you honor the work that you have done and your fellow legislators who are no longer here have done, and you vote in support of the resolutions supporting the Ashokan Rail Trail. Thank you.
Fred Kurtz, followed by Kate Berdan.
My name is Fred Kurtz, and I would be honored to say a few things. I would say it's very, very foolish to spend millions of dollars to destroy a railroad and build a trail that we do not need. The money is being wasted, and we can't even walk or bike safely in our own neighborhood. Every county road that leads to historic Hurley, where I live, is unsafe for any kind of use. There are dangerous trees and branches, deep ditches, rough roads, no shoulders, and dangerous guardrails. Instead of a world-class trail, we need world-class neighborhoods and towns. Every town along the corridor needs all the help it can get and would benefit greatly from trains like was the case for many, many years. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Kate Berdan, and I just want to say that I can't wait to use the trail with my friends and family, the Ashokan Rail Trail. I see my time. Nick Mercurio, followed by Stephen Leibowitz.
Brief is my middle name. I'm Nick Mercurio, a resident of Rosendale. I've spoken to you before. Ulster County has an abandoned rail corridor that belongs to the people of the county, and by the democratic process, the people have expressed their will through their elected representatives, you folks. The majority support the Ashokan Rail Trail and the compromise legislation that authorized it. I urge you to pass the trail resolutions tonight and make Ulster County history. Let me call your attention to the shirt I'm wearing. I hope to be wearing an Ashokan Rail Trail shirt this time next year. Thank you.
Good evening.
Thank you. My name is Steve Leibowitz. I am owner of Revolution Bicycles, formerly of Saugerties. We relocated this year into the city of Kingston, and we are looking forward to the Ashokan Rail Trail. We are also property owners. We own several rental properties in Kingston, and we are definitely looking forward to the trail and the excitement of all the trail connections that are coming to this county, which is also going to connect a lot of different communities. We have many customers here in the county that are looking forward to getting on the rail trail with their families, and we also have visitors alike who we would like to share this and give them the opportunity to go out and explore all the different towns, the cities, the hamlets that are here, and the unique features that are in this area. So we're totally in favor of the Ashokan Rail Trail. Thank you.
Samantha Moranville, followed by Dave Cook.
Hi, I'm Samantha Moranville. My husband and I make our home here in the city of Kingston, where we also are the owner of a two-family house, and we own a commercial property in Saugerties, and we own a commercial property and residential unit also in the city of Kingston, where we own and operate our business. So I am most assuredly a taxpayer in Ulster County, and I am 100% in favor of whatever it takes to build the Ashokan Rail Trail. Let's do it.
Ellie Reese, followed by Tom Polk.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Tom Polk. I live in Kingston. I work at the YMCA. I support the Ashokan Rail Trail. I teach youth safe cycling at the Y, and last year we had over 500 kids go through our programs. And the rail trails in our county offer a very nice opportunity for them to learn how to be safe on bikes. However, many of the kids that I have to work with don't have access to any of those trails. They live in Midtown Kingston. They are stuck with Midtown traffic, and we try and keep them safe there. So I want to assure you that this trail will be used, and our investment, and I mean our investment, because a wide range of citizens, business people, educators, and general people who would like a trail have been involved in supporting it. Our investment will have many, many returns over the decades. And the returns I'm specifically thinking about are today's kids and tomorrow's kids, your grandkids. It's a great investment. It will pay dividends to all those folks. So please support it. Thank you.
Dominic Kuchera, followed by Donna Johnson.
Good evening. There we go. Good evening. My name is Dominic Kuchera. I am the regional coordinator for Reclaim New York Initiative. I know there's been quite a bit said about my organization. So I think I should...
I'm not going to tolerate heckling of the person who's speaking. I made that very clear in the beginning. Anybody who continues to heckle will be removed from this room.
Thank you. I think it's important that first I address that we are a 501c4 nonpartisan nonprofit. So we do not get involved in any kind of electioneering, endorsements, political campaigns, nothing like that. And on the term limits in which we are speaking out on, it's important to note that we've been interacting with hundreds of Ulster County residents who asked us to get involved in this issue. And I urge you to put policy before politics. Look at the policy itself and determine if that's something that you can or can't support. And don't simply look at what the political naysayers or statements are going out into the press. Look at what the policy is and then make your decision. think about the individuals who will be urged into action of getting involved in politics because they don't have that 30-year incumbent who's been sitting in office all this time, or the ideas that will be brought into the political spectrum. And ultimately, remember, it's the folks sitting in either side of the room that will have the final say. They'll be the ones who are the final decision makers because it has to be approved by ballot referendum by those individuals. So I encourage you, put policy before politics, people before press releases, and at least let the people's voice be heard. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Donna Johnson, and I live in Accord, New York. And I want to speak against the term limits. I don't think that they're necessary at the local level. And I do think that it provides a way for money, dark or otherwise, to play a bigger part in the whole role of who actually gets to represent us. You know, we are voters. We come out. Everybody has an opportunity each time, and I don't think the term limits are going to be to anybody's benefit, except for people with money. And most of us who live in the county are not in that category. Thank you.
Karen Miller. Tim Guinea, followed by Brian Roberts.
I'm so excited I get to go to the bathroom. I'm Tim Guinea. I'm a resident of Marbletown, New York. I'm also a leader and a mentor in former Vice President Al Gore's Climate Reality Project and lead the local Hudson Valley chapter of that project. I want to, first of all, just thank the legislature for your service and also thank everybody for showing up and participating in civic duty tonight. It's extraordinary. I want to thank the legislature. My understanding is that the plastic bag ban is going to go to a full vote next month, and I'm really glad, whether you're for it or against it, that that's going to come up for consideration. I believe that plastic bans are deleterious to the environment. I think that banning them is consistent with the state's goals of reducing our dependence on fossil fuels. I think that this county has always taken a leadership position on environmental issues, and this is an opportunity to do that, as well as to push forward green tourism, which is an economic boon to the county. So I thank you very much.
Good evening. I am Brian Roberts, and just quickly, I'm here to voice my support for the Ashokan Trail and voice my appreciation for the work that you all do. And thank you in advance for passing Ashokan Trail resolutions tonight. Thank you.
Stuart Arkancloss, followed by Charles Lawrence.
Mr. Chairman and members of the legislature, my name is Stuart Auchincloss. I live in Woodstock, and I'm here to tell you that I am a taxpayer and very looking forward to the rail trail, and I hope that you'll adopt it tonight. Next year I turn 80 years old, and I'm really looking forward to trying it out.
Use microphone so people watching at home can hear you. Hi. Can you hear me in the room? Thank you. My name is Charlie Lawrence. They call me Charles. I live in the town of Ulster. I've been a lifelong resident of the county of Ulster. From what I've read and from emails I've received, the Ulster County legislators' compromise policy was unanimously adopted in December of 2015, and 18 resolutions since 2014 have been approved supporting the development of the Ashokan Rail Trail. I am an avid cyclist.
I cover about 200 miles a week on the road. I always looking for the perfect ride, as a lot of bikers are, which has taken me to Death Valley, Tucson, Burlington, La Crosse, Wisconsin, to participate in 100-mile rides that raise money for diabetes research. Hopefully, I can do that here in a local bike path. Locally, I've recently discovered and would like to point to the rail trail at the walkway over the Hudson. That area draws cyclists from all over the U.S. and the world, and although it is a great economic engine for that area with a beautiful view, it pales in comparison to what the Ashokan Rail Trail can provide. I'm asking you to support the approval of the resolutions without amendments to enable the final phase of construction. I'm about to be 72. I don't want to wait till I'm 80-something to ride that trail. This will create jobs, my apologies. This will create jobs and be an economic boost during construction. When complete, there will surely be an influx of tourists and cyclists to take advantage of the trail. This will create further economic benefits as they visit shops, restaurants, and seek lodging in the area. It also provides a safe way to cycle around the reservoir without the need to use Route 28. Thank you for your consideration of my request and my input. I trust you will do what is best for the economy of Ulster County by approving the final phase of the Ashokan Rail Trail. 5 seconds left relative to term limits. I'm opposing term limits. I'd rather have a little button you can push that says none of the above. No offense intended. Thank you.
Scott McIntosh, followed by Jem Maverick.
Hello, my name is Jem Maverick. I am a native of this county of Ulster. And this county was built on the railroad. I'm very passionate about the railroad. And I also love the rail trail. I am devastated at the prospect of no rails ever rolling on the Catskill Park corridor. The DEP requires a permit for use on their property and safeguarding the New York City water supply. How will they enforce the law? They don't seem to know when I ask them. Is security and sanitation and garbage removal in the budget? Because I clean the rail trails. And in fact, I use plastic bags to clean the rail trails, which will not be available to me anymore. And I certainly don't have a budget on my disability money to go out and buy garbage bags. Let's have bike registration and license for cyclists, like they do in California. How will we protect the pedestrians from bicycles whizzing by, which I don't see too often on the 209 rail trail? But we need to teach people how to use these trails safely when they're cycling. Was there a resolution impact study done for protecting the New York City waterway? A friend of mine suggested today of covering the existing rails with PVC piping and then putting a covering over that, so at least the rails would still be there when years from now, when the lawsuit is won for non-abandoned railroads, that they'll still be there.
Please wrap up your comments.
So let's have both rails and trails. I ask you to vote no on this resolution and keep the plastic garbage bag. Just make it biodegradable.
Gina Carbonari, followed by Erwin Sperber.
Good evening, Gina Carbonari, and I'm the Executive Director for the Ulster County SPCA, which clearly means I must be here. Sorry.
She is.
Which clearly means that I must be here about cats this evening. So I want to be very clear from the beginning that we supported this legislation from the beginning, and we supported it because it is a notification procedure. Part of our mission, a main part of our mission, is to ensure that we find homes for homeless animals, as well as we prevent animals who already have homes from losing those homes. the point in this legislation, especially as redacted as it has become, truly is to make sure that pet cats get back to their homes. This is not an argument about TNR versus euthanasia. It's not an argument about roaming cats. It's not an argument about all of these other ancillary subjects that certainly are deserving of discussion. However, this legislation is all about making sure that those cats that get trapped erroneously make their way back to their owners. So when we have somebody who comes into a neighborhood, that at least the people who live in that neighborhood have a means to know that something like that is happening, so that if their cat is trapped, they have a point of contact to reach out to in order to locate their cat, or they know in advance so they can keep their cat indoors. We are all about responsible pet ownership. But we have had those cases where 2 days before a trapping operation occurs, someone's cat gets out of their house. And unfortunately now, that cat never makes its way back home because it simply got caught up into a trapping operation. This is not about all of these other discussions that have been a part of every one of these hearings. This is all about making sure animals that have a home stay in that home. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Erwin Sperber, New Paltz. My primary concern has to do with the proposal to bring about term limits, and the reason this is, I think, something of a red flag, and I guess most of you folks don't hear that often from people like myself, political scientists and sociologists who do research on grassroots movements, but I can tell you flat out that the Mercer money that is behind this campaign to impose term limits is not going to save New York. It's not going to reclaim New York. This is the kind of money that is being provided by organizations, not just Mercer in particular, but the Koch brothers, by Adelson interests, by these kinds of dark money sources that really serve as a wrecking ball for grassroots democracy. And so any favorable consideration for this kind of proposal to impose term limits really opens the door that much wider to the kind of organizations, these big multinational corporate organizations that are intimately linked to Breitbart, to Bannon, and really serve as much of a threat to our country's democratic institutions as Vladimir Putin and his henchmen. So I would strongly urge you, in the strongest terms I can, to be very wary of all this talk and to shut down any
please wrap up your
involvement
comments.
by the Mercer money, and please let's allow grassroots democracy to flourish and to keep
Your time
dark
is
money
up.
out. Thank you.
Andy Weiss Bartsak, followed by Sharon Burns Leader.
Hi, I'm Andy Weiss Bartzek from the town of Gardner. I have brief comments on two issues, and then I would like to talk a bit about the term limits. I would like to see plastic bags banned. Our ancestors did perfectly well without plastic bags, and I think we can do well without plastic bags. I'm also against turning a railroad into a trail. We have plenty of trails, and if there's nothing in Kingston, let's think about something else and not destroy something that's already there. It certainly needs to be fixed up. But, okay, on to my third topic. I agree that the President of the United States should be term limited because the President of the United States can kill us all. So we can have presidents that are very popular and very dangerous, and I guess that's really why we have term limits, although the Republicans put the term limits on, and now it seems to be to their, not to their benefit. But below the president, I think we have the right to decide for ourselves. We have term limits. They're called voting for somebody else. And we see that example in New York City where I forget how many terms Crowley has been defeated in the primary by somebody else. And we're seeing that in this country now, that when people do it, when they care enough to go campaign to help somebody out, we can get rid of incumbents. So it isn't the fault, it's our fault if we don't get out people we don't like. So I don't like to have our power taken away by term limits. That essentially is what it is. Either we have the right to vote for the people we want, or we don't have the right anymore. Maurice Hinchey would have been out with term limits. Those of you who know him, would you have liked that? There are some great people and some people that aren't so great, but if you don't like them, run against them or help somebody else run against them. So again, no term limits, please. Let us...
Please wrap up your comments.
Okay, let us have the right to decide who we want in office.
My name is Sharon Burns-Leader, and I'm the co-owner of Bread Alone Bakery. In the 1980s, we created a life and a livelihood on the outskirts of Boyceville, surrounded by peaks and bordered by the Ashokan Reservoir. We built Bread Alone with hard work, ingenuity, and a whole heap of good luck. And to this day, we have been supported in our efforts, not only by our customers, several of whom are in this room this evening, and I thank you truly, but also by our employees and by the town, city, and county governments that have worked with us over the years as our business grew. Many, many people helped us to successfully create a place where folks could enjoy a healthy and delicious meal. We strive to continue as a beacon for generations of families who are drawn to the mountains as we were so many years ago. The Rail Trail project will only make it that much easier for visitors to say yes to a trip to Ulster County. When they come, and they will come, we all want to make sure that they stay in our towns and support our businesses so that we can continue to build infrastructure, repair roads, upgrade bridges, and generate all the initiatives that you fine folks get to vote on as you work together to continue to make Ulster County the kind of place that people want to travel to from all over the globe. We will continue to do our part to make the Western Route 28 corridor inviting for tourists and locals alike. We completed a refresh of our Boyceville Cafe and property in 2017 and are in the planning process of a renovation with a working budget of over $200,000. This project will allow us to provide additional seating as well as jobs and another opportunity to build our sustainability efforts. Your support tonight gives us a green light to continue to build our dream in the Catskill Mountains. Thank you.
Lee Kalish, followed by Hugo Julie.
Close.
Hugo Julie.
Next.
Clayton Horsey, followed by Peter Miller.
Good evening. My name is Clayton Horsey. Hi. I'm here in support of the Ashokan Rail Trail, but I want to speak to a larger issue, which is climate change. I support bicycles as transportation devices. In 2017, I made a commitment to myself and to the planet that I would replace 2,000 miles of commuting from Woodstock to Kingston by a bicycle. And I did that. This year, I've made the same commitment. So that means I was riding from Woodstock to Kingston on 28. And I rode year-round, started in the winter. And that was 1,900 pounds of carbon dioxide that I did not put into the atmosphere. So I support the Ashokan Rail Trail because anything that we can do to reduce our dependence on fossil fuels and reduce our carbon emissions, I support that, and I support everything you can do to support me and all my fellow bicyclists. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Peter Miller. I am the Chief of the Highland Fire District. I've been active in the fire service in Highland for 45 years. We in Ulster County have talked about a fire training center for our firefighters for almost half a century. Finally, we are making headway toward that goal, and we must finally complete this endeavor as it benefits the entirety of Ulster County. All firefighters need quality training. The greatest majority of firefighters in the county are volunteers and are the most cost-effective piece of municipal government we have. Access to centralized, effective training employing uniform methods and equipment is paramount to the continued effectiveness and retention of our Ulster County firefighters. This centralized training is essential to the mutual aid system and the necessity of today where fire departments are working hand in hand with each other more often. The current proposal for the firefighter training network at 3 independent sites in Ulster County of existing fire facilities and resources, far reducing the cost to the county. Tiny educational portion of firefighting training to the SUNY Ulster site affords a better fire training curriculum, resources, and opportunities for our firefighters unavailable to them unless they leave the county. The proposed training at the SUNY Ulster site is basically the equivalent of tech training at BOCES with the addition of classroom experience. No live fire training will take place at the SUNY site. I can assure you that those that have developed this project have done their due diligence, listened to all the communities, agencies, and entities needed to make the project work with minimal to no impact. I'm sure every effort will be made to ensure respectful, organized training. Exercises will be appropriately scheduled, managed, and taught within confines of the proposal. I am sure any perceived or actual inconvenience created by incorporating the Ulster County Fire Training Program into and onto the SUNY Ulster campus will be very minimal and soon overlooked as not being a nuisance or even a concern. I strongly appeal to the legislator and the entities having jurisdiction over this project to continue to move it in a direction to completion as it is the best option with the potential least cost and best outcome for our county's firefighters and the collective municipalities providing this profound emergency service.
Please
to their
wrap up your
communities.
comments.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fred DeMeo, followed by Eric Orr.
Mr. Chairman, members of the legislature, thank you for all your hard work. I appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight. I came with a slightly different perspective in support of the training facility, which is a unique opportunity that's before Ulster County right now. I was first entered the fire service in 1976 when I was 2 years old. Other than a few years when my kids were very young, I've been active in the volunteer fire service in Ulster County and elsewhere, Tompkins County, when I was at Cornell University. One of the key factors that has kept me out of trouble since the time I first joined the fire service is training. Training happens on the back of, in parking lots, on the back of a truck, but the most effective training happens at organized facilities. I have, over the years, never been in trouble. I attribute that to 3 factors. 1, I'm usually surrounded by very qualified volunteers. 2, I am always surrounded by well-trained, level-headed chiefs and leaders. And 3, I have taken advantage of as much training as I possibly can over the years. I would urge you, as a body, to bring the training center proposal to fruition as quick as possible. The issues seemingly have been mitigated. I think we can all get along. The volunteers are on our roads anyway. I've lost count of the number of fatalities that I've assisted in and the scores, if not hundreds, of serious fires I've been at. I'm on the road all the time already. I won't be clogging up the corridor to the Stone Ridge Training Center, and I will be glad not to have to go to Orange County or Dutchess County and spend more time away from my family. I would like a centralized facility in Ulster County, and I would urge you all to bring that to fruition as quick as possible. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. My name is Eric Orr. I'm a firefighter in the Walkill Fire District. I'm here tonight in support of a fire training center at SUNY Ulster. I firmly believe that a fire training center would benefit the citizens and firefighters throughout the county by producing a better trained and more engaged firefighter. Our state and county fire instructors do an outstanding job with training. Where our shortcomings are is a well-equipped facility that provides a consistent atmosphere that is conducive to learning. Currently, training relies on a host fire department. Lighting, heat, air conditioning, and seating all vary. Audiovisual equipment and training props can vary greatly as well. A county training center would be designed for firefighter learning that would take out all these variables. A training center would also provide an environment without the distractions found in many firehouses, such as radio traffic, emergency dispatches, and normal day-to-day firehouse activities. Another benefit of having a training center at SUNY Ulster, it is more central to most of the county. Currently, students travel to a host fire department, in some cases over an hour away. SUNY Ulster would be a 30 or 40-minute drive to most of the furthest fire companies. Students that work or go to school are limited in training opportunities due to travel time. This would have a positive impact on travel time, allowing more students to attend training. Lastly, the hope that this training center will bring a fire science program back to Ulster County. Organizations such as the Ulster County Volunteer Firemen's Association and the Charlie Haas Memorial Scholarship have scholarships that were designed to assist Ulster County students with college costs in pursuing a career in fire science. With no program, we have either modified the requirements to other fields or not issued the scholarship. Please move forward with a training center at SUNY Ulster, and I thank you for allowing me to speak to you tonight. Thank you.
Paul Alexander, followed by Mark Eyes.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mark Heiss. I'm a resident of the town of New Paltz. I'm also a member of the New Paltz Town and Village Bicycle and Pedestrian Subcommittee. And I am here to show my support for the resolutions necessary to complete the Ashokan Rail Trail. I'd also like to shout out for the expansion of outdoor recreation wherever we can in Ulster County. I think it's a solid part of our tourist base. I know people come here specifically to recreate from all over. And lastly, I'd like to also speak to the issue, the broader issue. A couple of people mentioned it also, expanding cyclist safety all over the county. We have an issue in New Paltz with Route 299 from Butterville Road to 4455. We're working on getting the shoulders widened. I know Executive Hine is working on it slowly, diligently, but that's a huge safety issue. It's a very popular cycling route, and we had a near fatality a couple of years ago, and we don't want to see that repeated. So thank you for your support of outdoor recreation and cyclist and pedestrian safety. Thank you.
Lloyd Hofstetter, followed by Laura Cunningham.
I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Lloyd Hofstetter. I'm a native of Ulster County, a resident of the town of Olive. I wanted to speak briefly on the resolution to add to the funding for the rail trail. As a solar installer for over the last 30 years, I've been involved in environmental issues all this time. I've also been involved with customers, and the first thing, no matter what, however many environmental benefits or personal benefits there are to the customer for a solar system, the bottom line is, what's the cost and benefit analysis? What do I get out of this, or what's the benefit, and what am I going to pay for this? Well, between now and the time the compromise resolution was passed, the economics have changed greatly for this rail trail funding. And I would ask and challenge the legislature to do a fair and open and complete economic analysis, including the impact of all the residents of Ulster County, including the folks that I know from the Boyceville Food Bank, which is very close to the rail trail. The county legislature was very supportive of the rail bike initiative and pointed towards the economic benefits of that. I'm not so sure that it's been as clear as to what the economic benefits to a local county is for the rail trail itself. I happen to support rail and trail as a process, but at this point in the game, I would challenge the legislature to provide an open, fair, and transparent economic analysis and put it up for a referendum vote in November, so that the residents of this county can truly decide, not by a popularity contest, but by truly voting as to which is the proper course of action to take. I thank you very much for your time.
I was waiting for the announcement. I'm Laura Cunningham, and I've lived in Stone Ridge for 37 happy years. I'm here to discuss the Fire Training Center, and I have to say we adore and appreciate and honor firefighters, and there is a far more convenient central place for them to train that's already an operating training center, and that's at Ulster Landing Road, which is 16 miles away. There is no real need to go far away to train. With 50 companies, it presents certain problems being behind a lot of residents. I tonight want to address the serious issue of health hazards because I spoke with the doctors at Stone Ridge Healing Arts. The training center would be directly behind their center, and they have all signed a petition asking that it not be, that it would endanger their patients. But in a way, certainly as serious is an email that I received today, which is about the Child Care Center, which is 600 feet away from this projected site. Now, I think that we're all good people, and the firemen are wonderful people, and no one wants to endanger lives. They want to save them. So this is the email that I received. Child Care Center, 600 feet from the training center. The Child Care Center is open from 7:30 for children, infants in diapers, 6 weeks old to children of 5 years. They have outdoor sessions 12 months of the year. They serve children, not just of the faculty and students, but also residents of the community. They are New York State licensed and also liable to Child Protective Services. And more important than this is that these are the most vulnerable residents in our county. I don't really think I have to say more than this. Does this belong 600 feet from a fire training center? Thank you very much.
Donna Bruschi, followed by Christine Guarino.
Hi, my name is Donna Bruschi. I'm a resident of New Paltz, and I'm also a member of the New Paltz Bicycle and Pedestrian Committee. And I'm an avid cyclist. A year ago, after nearly 40 years of car ownership, I got tired of owning a car, and my car died at the same time. And I was like, what, do I need a car? Like, can I ride my bike? And here I am a year later, and yes, I can. And over the past year, I've ridden my bike a lot, and I ride it on the Wallkill Valley Rail Trail, and the Hudson Valley Rail Trail, and the Walkway, and the Dutchess County Rail Trail. And if it's too far away, or if, like, I would love to do the Kingston Green Line, but instead it's not quite here yet, so I take UCAT. And I put my bike on UCAT, and they take me all over the place, and then I get off, ride my bike wherever I want to go onto one of these rail trails. And it's not because I don't like riding on the roads, I do. But a year ago, I got hit by a car, and I broke my arm. And cars don't like cyclists, and cyclists don't like cars, and that's why we need trails. Because if your 8-year-old child isn't comfortable riding on the road, they can't ride on the road, and that's not a good place for them. We need this trail, and it's an excellent way to increase transportation alternatives in Ulster County for people like the Bread Alone Bakery, which is a great place to ride your bike to, except on 28, and Kingston and New Paltz and anywhere in the county, because it's a great place to ride your bike. Thank you.
Christine Guarino. Nope. Jamie Myers. Susan Jaworski.
Let's see. Hello, my name's Susan Jaworski, and I'm from Shokan, New York. And I came today to discuss Reclaim New York's attempt to influence our county's legislative process. Although never mentioned in their literature, Reclaim New York is closely tied to the Mercer family, Steve Banning, and the disgraced Cambridge Analytica. They are the definition of dark money in our political system. Reclaim New York does claim to be nonpartisan, to support citizens, to educate New Yorkers, and promote transparency. But the record of their action in other communities shows quite the opposite. Reclaim New York's record is to quietly insert themselves into small New York State communities with unsuspecting topics, for example, like our term limit bill, and then wreak havoc and drive their own agenda. Our community's goal should be to govern and legislate ourselves without this untraceable money. I ask that Resolution 285 or any future legislation that Reclaim New York or Mercer money jumps onto not be brought forward until the Ulster County legislation can review and understand the consequences of Reclaim New York's extensive investment of dark, corrupt money in our community's legislation. To help legislators gain a full understanding of the possible impact to communities, today I sent documentation on Reclaim New York to my legislator for distribution and for the county legislators to review. I also received an offer from a former New York State corruptions investigator, Joyce St. George, to speak with anyone who has interest on Reclaim New York. I take this very seriously. This is our community. Thank you very much.
Kate Reese Hurd, followed by Jody Lomely.
In April, I spoke to you about how wireless radiation can activate the voltage-gated calcium channel, regulatory mechanisms, the VGCCs in the heart's pacemaker cells to cause arrhythmias, as I found out. The VGCCs are also responsible for the production and use of all of the neurotransmitters. Synapse creation in the fetus and newborn is heavily dependent on the right functioning of these VGCCs. They are the key means of information transfer within and between bodily systems. And here's the rub. Wireless data transmissions work because they override the electromagnetic field frequencies of the Earth. But along with our overt data transmissions, we're also continually sending chaotic data side transmissions to all forms of life in our biosphere. Our VGCCs are heavily impacted by these unseen transmissions. We now know this. In the face of our escalating epidemics, we need to ask, why are these crises overtaking us? In the folders of coordinated documents and graphics I brought for you tonight, you'll see that a number of them address the direct known connection between the aberrant activation of the VGCCs by wireless radiations and our plummeting fertility, rising Alzheimer's, autism, depression, sudden cardiac death, and disappearing birds and bees. You will also see what early studies already revealed about these dangers and how we got to where we are. And you will see technical and legislative suggestions. These folders are a sign of the gravity of this situation.
Please wrap up your comments.
This affects us all. Please, will you join me in studying this material, crafting sensible responses, ruling out 5G and electronic metering.
Your time is up.
Ruling in fiber optics. Thank you.
Jody Lomelli, followed by the last speaker that signed up, Kaylee Rosenblum.
Hi, everyone. There are persons, organizations here tonight that oppose the trapping notification law. I do not. I support it. They oppose this law. Why? Because they care for the cats? No. Because they don't want you to know they are coming into your neighborhood and taking your cats. Just let that sink in for a second. They also oppose euthanasia by a licensed professional. Let that sink in too. Now ask yourselves, what exactly are they doing with the cats they take? Our pets. Don't we have a right to know who is taking our pets and where can I go to bring it back home? As you are pondering your position, please be aware that the very same organizations that oppose this law have, one, lost their sponsorship with the ASPCA, and more importantly, another has been investigated by several regulatory departments due to illegal and unscrupulous behaviors. The DEA facility registration for that organization and the Department of Health certificate of euthanasia has been revoked. Let that sink in. Please, this is a common sense law that helps us keep our cats in our homes. Please support this law. Thank you.
The last speaker signed up was Kaylee Rosenblum.
That being the last public speaker, we're going to move into resolutions. Are there resolutions into out of consent?
Yes, Chairman. We would like to move from non-consent to consent, resolution number 296 and resolution number 317.
I'll second that.
All right, on the consent agenda as amended?
We are short yes.
Short yes.
The resolutions are adopted 23-0.
Resolution 210, adopting proposed local law number 9 of 2018, a local law to adopt countywide notification requirements for the trapping of free-roaming feral and/or stray cats.
Legislator Petit.
Thank you. I thank everyone for their input on this law. People are very passionate about their animals, and making decisions is very difficult. With that, we have made amendments that you have all received, and they are in front of you. Any references to TNR have been removed. Additionally, we have one more amendment, and that's under the effective date. This local law shall take effect 6 months from the date of filing with the office. This will give us further time to, to review the law, to include many of the comments that have been made, and we hope that we can come to a good resolution that will, in effect, take care of all of our cats. We have different ways of getting there, but I think our goals are all the same. Oh, I have to offer the amendment, okay. I've never done this before. So I'm offering the amendments to, as written and in addition under the effective law for local law number 9 of 2018.
Amendment's been moved and seconded. On the amendment? Oh, no, does anybody want to speak on the amendment, actually? Hearing none? Mary Beth?
On the amendment? We're a short no with, are you in?
On the amendment? Yeah, I'm in. Yes, on the amendment.
Oh, we're short yes on the amendment. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Okay. All right, give me 1 second.
We're short yes on the amendment, but with 2 no's, I think.
You guys are okay? Okay, so we are a short yes with the following no's: Legislator Worrow, Fabiano, Waltman, Haynes, and Mayo.
We're a short yes.
The amendment is adopted 18-5.
On the resolution, we are
Is there any
a
more
short
discussion on the resolution? All right.
yes.
On the resolution.
We are short no with the following yeses: Legislator Ronk, Lopez, Roberts, and Litz.
We're a short yes with the following no's: Legislators Archer, Collins, Donaldson, and DeLon.
Yes.
I
I'll
take
be
that
on,
back.
yes.
Apparently out of the back there. We are a short yes with the following no's: Archer, Collins, and DeLon.
The resolution is adopted as amended 13-10.
Resolution 310. Sorry. Resolution 282.
2.
Adopting proposed local law number 5 of 2018, a local law amending the Ulster County Charter, local law 2 of 2006, and amending the administrative code for the County of Ulster, local law 10 of 2008, to clarify budget modification after adoption.
We are a short no with the following yeses: Ronk, Litz, and Roberts.
We are a short yes with the following no's: Nolan. Legislator Nolan.
Nine no's. Passes.
The resolution is adopted 14-9.
Resolution 285, adopting proposed local law number 15 of 2018, a local law amending local law number 2 of 2006, a local law adopting the county charter form of government for the County of Ulster, State of New York, and amending local law 10 of 2008, a local law adopting an administrative code for the County of Ulster, State of New York, to create term limits for certain Ulster County elected officials.
Legislator Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I will move to postpone Resolution 285 till our September meeting, which I believe is September 20th. And I would like to actually give the reasons why, if you'd like to take a second and then I can continue, or would you want me to put my hand back up again? Say second.
Second. All right. Moved and seconded on the amendment,
If I may,
or
just-
on the postponement, I
On the
should say.
Yes, on the postponement. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So there's been a lot of misinformation, and I want to at least set the record straight. And I know the people here in this room understand because we've all been through this for the past 7 months. This legislature was trying to take an honest look at term limits, and it's something that we've spent several months doing. There have been 3 public hearings on the matter, and lo and behold, apparently an outside group decided to go and get involved with what was a honest-to-goodness discussion in this body about term limits. So, in order to remove any doubt, I think, of any outside political intrigue, the Democratic caucus at this time would like to go and postpone this. Again, with that time frame, that means any local law that did pass this body would then have to be for the 2019 election cycle, and at least that way we can have an honest-to-goodness vote. But I want to make sure it's clear. People of conscience can believe in term limits. People of conscience who have advocated for that position for a while can hold that position regardless of whatever outside influence may be trying to interject itself. However, that said, I also understand that we need to be able to have an honest vote without any undue duress. So, thank you, Mr. Chair.
We are short no on postponing.
We are a short yes.
I'll be a yes on postponing.
Thank you, Brian.
Okay. We are a short no with one yes. Legislator Woltman.
We're still a short yes.
The postponement is adopted 13 to 10.
I don't understand.
Resolution 30. I'm sorry, postponement.
Right, so now we have to
Yes.
No, resolution.
Oh, it's postponed. Sorry. Resolution 307, amending capital project number 459, Ashokan Rail Trail project to include costs for Phase 2 construction and construction inspection, Department of Planning.
Legislator Green.
Thank you. On Resolution 307, I would like to also propose that this resolution be referred to a future meeting of the TRAC committee. I have a lot of questions that were not answered, and I really didn't even understand the questions until the last week. Questions about budget, about grants that have been available but not applied for, about a track that was removed, and my hope is that with a 1 month postponement, we can come to an agreement to really work together to maximize both the remaining portion of rail that has the potential to be an incredible tourist asset and recreational asset for this county, as well as the amount of attention and resources that are being given to the trail. But I think we really need to have a more open discussion. So I am making a motion to postpone any action on Resolution 307 and its Bond 308 until we have a more thorough discussion in the Trail and Rail Advisory Committee.
Motion's been made to refer to track. Legislator Donaldson. Motion's been made and seconded to refer to the Trail and Rail Advisory Committee. On the referral, Dave? Legislator Donaldson would like to speak.
On the referral, at this point we have had at one point this trailer was going to cost the taxpayers absolutely no county money. It is now at, I believe, $3 million, and I believe there will be added because of the Boyceville trestle, and the FEMA money for the Boyceville trestle will most likely not come through. I mean, at the other side, I believe that this trail at this point should be built because the tracks are already gone. But there's other questions that we could do and create, more of a consensus if we have a discussion about the money so everybody understands exactly what the money, what is going to cost. But also the Catskill Mountain Railroad wants to put in for 2 different grants that the county refuses to work with them on. Now, if this is something that maybe they could work with them on, and in the places where we had the compromise where, the up to milepost 8.5 and maybe a little bit further, if we can get these grants, they would actually be able to reach those spots pretty quickly. I know at one point we were advised that they were not going to get where they got, that it was where they ended up getting to, said it was impossible, going to take 5 years. It ended up taking 5 months. But it happened. And I think we could actually, if it goes back to this track committee, we can have this discussion on what we can do to help the railroad also in where they are and how to tie that back. How to tie the railroad more effectively into the trail. So this is actually much better use for everyone, even the bicyclists being able to hop on that train, bringing it down to the Kingston area, have whatever. There's various things that could actually happen with that. But we haven't had that discussion. And we haven't had the discussion of the idea of the grants that seem not to be able to even get anybody in the county to help sign off on it. It's a maintenance grant that they would have to sign off on that end. But that has not happened. So, yes, I think we need to send this to the track committee. We need to have these discussions. We need to make both of these work the best.
Legislator Maloney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As chairman of the track committee, over the time, we have had several discussions. And Manna, you and I had a discussion, I believe it was Saturday afternoon on your trip to Washington. Okay. At the previous track committee meetings, I publicly support them getting to milepost. I believe it's milepost, whatever Route 28A is, 8.33. And I said publicly, if I'm in this legislature, I will get them to 11.1, which puts them right at the edge of the DEP property to hook up with the trail. That has been my public opinion for years. The biggest obstacle I can see for the Catskill Mountain Railroad is they better get down, and I've been saying this to them for 2 years, get down and make a deal with Brad Jordan, because it was announced by the governor's office when he was in town a week, 10 days ago, the allocation for the $10 million that the city got. Okay, things are going to change in the plaza. Things are happening, and I've been telling them for years to get down there, and they haven't. Okay, if they can get to 8.33, Manna, as I said to you on Saturday, we'll get them to 11.1 and hook up with the trail. There is no need to refer it back.
Legislator Nolan.
Yes, I've been working on this particular project since 2005 as a volunteer when the county started looking at this corridor, hired consultants. The process has been, since then, very rigorous, hundreds of meetings, thousands of public comments, and some of these recommendations in terms of postponement don't even have to do with this resolution to build this corridor. They don't concern the Ashokan corridor at all. So there are issues that the CMRR, the Catskill Mountain Railroad, should address with the track committee and with the administration in terms of fulfilling their current permit obligations. That can happen aside from this resolution. 2005 to 2018, I think, is long enough. Please vote against this postponement.
Legislator Donaldson. Wait, before he speaks, does anybody want to speak for a first time? Legislator Donaldson for a second time.
Well, I'd like to see the air project go. How long is that? 25 years? Having said that, we take a look at the money, $3.4 million that we didn't know we were going to spend, and added another probably at least 3, maybe 4, and according to the bids, it could be as high as 5 to deal with the Boycefield trestle. So those things have not been discussed. We've just said, oh, well, they rebid it, and then they start talking about a different bridge. So I think there's been some deception on that. And on the other hand, it's easy for us to just say, oh, yeah, well, let it go. Oh, we committed to this. Well, we need to know the exact amount of money that we're going to be spending. and it keeps on escalating.
Legislator Green.
Yeah, I would especially be clear about the budget and where the dollars are coming from, why there seems to be an increase. I mean, I think we have to be fiscally responsible, and that's the main conversation I'd like to have. There are a lot of other things that belong in the TRAC committee that Legislator Nolan is correct, are not directly related to Resolution 307, but its budget is. Thank you.
Legislator Nolan.
The budget for this project has gone up from the original projections. The reasons for that have been discussed in multiple committees and have mainly to do with the fact that the condition of the corridor was found to be much worse than had been estimated. The corridor had not been properly cared for. The drainage particularly was horrible. And so actual wetlands had developed in the corridor, which was not known prior to going in and doing the detailed work. To handle those wetlands, which are good for the drinking water protection, the county has had to do more extensive work. There is also, in the interest of addressing the Butternut Cove and in the creek that drains into that, a proposal to daylight that, and that project was more than had originally been budgeted. We're also many years down the road from some of those budgets. Nonetheless, at what we're asking the county portion to be here, which is a little over $3 million, this trail will cost us about $300,000 a mile for an environmentally pristine corridor, handicapped accessible. This is very low cost to the residents and taxpayers of the county. The returns for each of those dollars, just from health alone, would be estimated to be about $3 for every $1 invested. The economic benefit is estimated to be millions of dollars, with jobs both during construction and afterwards. And the sheer recreational and aesthetic benefit to the community, you've heard people talk about here over and over again. So, we understand this is hard for people to give up what they have previously thought of as theirs, but this is an Ulster County resource, this corridor, and we're getting a very good bang for the buck. The details of where that money is coming from was distributed. The project has been reviewed by 3 different committees, which all passed out. And so I think we have to take a vote.
On the postponement?
We are a short no.
We are a short no with the following yeses: Legislators Donaldson, Green, and Maloney.
Joseph.
And you're okay, and Petit.
The referral is defeated with 4 yeses and 19 noes.
On the resolution?
We are short yes.
Wait, Legislator Petit.
Recognizing that this legislature has been supportive of both rail and trail, and in a resolution last year, 422, they did request, and it was passed, that 1,000 feet of track would be kept for future use. I would like to offer a further resolved that at least 1,000 feet of the former railroad right-of-way between Basin Road and the future West Hurley Trailhead be reserved for future railroad reconstruction and be left undisturbed by trail or trailhead construction. Thank you.
Seconded.
Amendment moved and seconded. On the amendment?
Through the chair to Legislator Petit.
Yes.
Are you talking about when 1,000 feet of what is all there? Well, that was the whole conversation with Legislator Green. If they get to 8.33, the track is all still there from 28A to the DEP property.
Legislator Maloney, just a point of information to you, I believe she's talking about the rail bed, which no longer has rails on it, west of Basin Road, which would be in between Basin Road and the Woodstock Dyke.
That's exactly what I'm trying to. I don't think it's physically possible. I believe those rails have been removed.
They're talking about the rail bed itself, not the rails.
My apologies.
So we are a short no with the following yeses: Legislator Worrow, Fabiano, and Litz.
We are a short no with the following yeses: Legislators Donaldson, Green, Maloney, and Petit.
The amendment is defeated 7-16.
On the resolution.
We are a short yes.
Legislator Donaldson.
I would like to vote yes on this, but I won't be able to because I think eventually this is it should be done. But I really think it should have been done with a little more look at working together with the Catskill Mountain Railroad to make sure that they join together and make sure that it is actually something that we can all be proud of, that everybody's going to be using. And so I will have to be voting no on it.
On the resolution.
Short yes.
So we are a short yes with the following no's: Donaldson, Green, and Maloney.
The resolution is adopted 20-3.
Resolution 308, authorizing the financing of the construction of the Ashokan Rail Trail in and for the County of Ulster, New York, at a maximum estimated cost of $8,250,281, and authorizing the issuance of $8,250,281 bonds of said county to pay the cost thereof.
Archer.
Yes.
Bartels. Yes. Collins. Yes. DeLon.
Yes.
Donaldson.
It would have to be a no. We do not know the actual cost of this yet.
Eckert.
Yes.
Fabiano.
Yes.
Gerentine. Yes. Green.
No.
Haynes.
Yes.
Hepner.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Lopez. Yes. Mayo.
Yes.
Maloney James.
Yes.
Maloney Joseph.
No.
Nolan.
Yes.
Petite.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ronk.
Yes.
Worrow. And Waltman.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted 20-3.
Resolution 301, approving the extension of a contract amendment in the excess of $50,000 entered into by the county, Barton and Judas, DPC, Department of Planning.
On the resolution.
Short yes.
We're a short yes with the following no's: Legislators Donaldson, Green, and Maloney.
The resolution is adopted 20-3.
Resolution 302, approving the execution of a contract in excess of $50,000 in and for the County of Ulster, entered into by the county, A Service Stone Servodone Incorporated, Department of Planning.
On the resolution.
We are a short yes.
We're a short yes with the following no's: Legislators Donaldson, Green, and Maloney.
The resolution is adopted 20-3.
Resolution 311, authorizing the issuance of an additional $35,000 in bonds of the County of Ulster, New York, to pay part of the cost of the installation of shoulders along Route 299 in and for said county.
Archer.
Yes.
Bartels.
Yes, and I just want to say that these are the shoulders that were referenced earlier, and they're of critical importance, so I'm very happy to see this moving forward.
Collins. DeLon. Donaldson. Eckert.
Yes.
Fabiano.
Yes.
Gerantine. Green.
Yes.
Haynes.
Yes.
Hepner.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Lopez. Mayo. Maloney James.
Yes.
Maloney Joseph.
Yes.
Nolan.
Yes.
Petit. Roberts.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ronk.
Yes.
Worrow. And Waltman.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted 23-0.
Resolution 321, authorizing the chairman of the Ulster County Legislature to execute a grant agreement with the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York for the Hudson Valley Rail Trail West Phase 4 project.
On the resolution.
We are a short yes.
Legislator Rodriguez. Oh, Legislator Rodriguez.
Thank you. So, I want to take a moment because this was, in fact, one of the last, if not the last grant that came from our great assemblyman and dear friend Frank Scartatos. And I just want to, number one, take a moment to recognize that. And it is my hope that maybe we can find a way to honor Frank. And I would actually like to be approaching the various towns where this trail goes through and maybe name it in his honor as the Scartatos Trail. I think that that's something that would be very, very fitting for Frank, and I think is a testament to him. So I will be probably trying to get those towns. I think per our process, the towns have to pass a resolution. And it's, I think, my hope that as a body, I think that we encourage them to send us a resolution on that. Thank you. And we are a short yes with one no. Legislator Maloney.
The resolution is adopted 22-1.
Legislator Mayo to correct the record on the consent agenda. I believe there was an abstention that was not.
For Resolution 316, we'd like to change it from a short yes with one abstention. Legislator Maloney. Jim Maloney.
Jim Maloney.
That resolution 316 is adopted 22-0 with one abstention. Legislator Jim
For what
Maloney.
purpose, Mr. Chairman?
He said purpose of employment.
It's for purpose of employment? Ah, the solar pilot. Okay. That you
Snottiness does
negotiated.
not look nice on you, Legislator Rodriguez. Let's not fight now. All right. That was the last resolution. At this time, I'm going to be calling on Legislator Kevin Roberts to read the names of the folks we'll be adjourning in memory of today. I'd ask that the legislators as well as the public remain still and listen. It's a very solemn time.
Mr. Chair, before we get started, I'd like to note that Glenn Noonan's the first name up there. Glenn served with a lot of us here for 18 years. Glenn also gave me my start in county politics, and he brought my name for appointment for the RRA, and I was confirmed 33-0 back then, right, Hector? And I might add that Hector and Dave voted to confirm me. I doubt if that would happen today. I believe that was a power
I'd still
of
vote for you, Kev.
Thank you, sir. But anyway, Glenn had a lasting effect on all of us that knew him. He had a quick wit and a wise crack for almost every occasion. But more than a politician, Glenn was a family man. Every time I talked to him the last couple of years, he did mention that how was Nella? And I just want to make one point here, and everybody should take note of this. A couple of weeks ago, I said, I haven't heard from Glenn in a couple of weeks or a couple of months. I'm going to give him a call, but life went on. I forgot to call him. I made that call at his funeral, so I regret, not giving him a shout. And but Glenn, I'm going to miss you. Most of us that knew him is going to miss him. And rest in peace, my friend. I'm going to read the rest of the names here. Eugene Olson, Pine Bush. Harvey Kronek, Trinity, Florida. William Kotz, Sr., Ellenville, New York. Paul Jordan, Jr., Kingston, New York. Heather Classy Leone, Kingston. Robert A. Knapp, Wallkill, Charlotte Gill, Hurley, Robert J. Struble, Chandler, Arizona, Charles H. Eggleton III in Wallkill, New York. He was actually a kid from Plattekill that died from a heroin overdose. Harry Van Vliet, Ulster Park, Norma Hewson, Kingston, Patrick Colbert, Lake Katrine, Alan Kirkpatrick, West Shokan, Floyd D. Moon, Saugerties, William A. Bear Jr., Saugerties, Catherine H. Knifer, Saugerties, Grace Apuzzo Franicoli, Plattekill, she was 102, God bless. Lillian Reagans, Wallkill, Francis M. Young, Ruby, Julia A. Ginty, Town of Ulster, Kenneth Gottstein, Tilson, Joseph F. Teresi, Kingston, 103, Sharon Haynes, Kingston, Marilyn J. Yanks, Marlborough, Danielle Paraco, New Paltz, George O. Knox, Sr., Slatesburg, Corabell L. North, Saugerties, Ann E. Brandt, Woodstock.
Legislator Donaldson.
I'd also like to say something about Glenn Noonan. Glenn was my adversary. He was my friend. You often say, how do you do that? Well, he was very good at busting chops. And I used to be one of the ones that he would bust the chops on. And I would do the same to him, and we did it on a regular basis. We were, and some people actually thought we didn't like each other, but we went out and had a beer after each night, whenever we had a meeting here. So he was my friend, and he's going to be greatly missed.
Legislator Bartels.
Thank you. I too want to just speak for a second about Glenn. Glenn was my neighbor. We lived 7 houses apart, and he was my friend before I served, and it's been a really rough week. I had a very similar experience to Legislator Roberts, and he's going to be very sorely missed.
Thank you, Legislator Bartels. Legislator Worrell.
I'd like to mention Jake Croswell from Hurley. He was a former Town of Hurley clerk and supervisor.
Hearing no other additions, the next regular meeting of the Ulster County Legislature will be held on August 14th, 2018 at 7 p.m. in the Legislative Chambers, 6th floor of the Ulster County Office Building, right here. And resolution deadline is Wednesday, July 25th at 12 noon. I'd like to remind all legislators that the Vietnam Traveling Wall opening ceremony is Thursday, July 19th at 11 a.m. at Cantine Veterans Memorial Complex, a.k.a. Cantine Field in Saugerties. And it will be open 24 hours a day until Sunday, July 22nd at 8 p.m. With that, Legislator Litz.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'll move for adjournment.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? All in favor? There it is. Opposed?